Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, April the 10th. The news in Arkansas this week is going to be dominated by the coming executions of 7 people scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. April 17th and to run over a 10-day span on 11 calendar days until 7 people are executed. It was to be 8, but 1 person was spared temporarily last week by a federal judge. Judge Christine Baker is having hearings in her court this week. She's added a day to the hearings because of a massive filing late last week by the state opposing a halt to the executions. There are going to be 4 days of hearings. The last 3 days, she says, will run 12 hours a day. That's going to push her deliberations up to within about 3 days of the beginning of the execution process. Time clearly is of the essence in all of these matters, although some of these people have been on death row for 30 years or thereabouts. John Grisham, the Arkansas native and famous novelist, wrote an op-ed today in USA Today calling on the governor to halt the executions. He cites problems with legal representation about the pace of the executions, the burden on the execution staff, and other problems. He said it's something that the state shouldn't subject itself to. I doubt his word will have much effect on the governor, but it's yet one more black eye for Arkansas, although polls show Arkansas voters are happy to continue the execution process and don't seem to want it to stop. In other news, we learned over the weekend that the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce is in line to began getting $300,000 a year in corporate welfare taxpayer money from the city of Little Rock in 2015. A judge said these payments were illegal, unconstitutional, but then the legislature came with a constitutional amendment to re-legalize the payments to private corporations like the Chamber of Commerce, which of course are nothing but political lobbying associations. They're not going to do anything more for the money than they've been doing the last couple of years anyway. There are very few requirements for accountability or transparency in the process. This is nothing more than a subsidy by the city to the chamber. But the chamber, because of its immense influence on elections, calls a lot of shots with the city board. I expect they'll get the money. I hope at least we'll have a discussion of it by the city board, by some of those who don't think the Chamber of Commerce works in their interest. The chamber, after all, was the leader of the effort to take over the Little Rock School District and abolish the school board. Now the chamber wants taxpayer support from the very people who are upset about that takeover effort. It's not exactly democracy at work. That school election, by the way, is going to be May the 9th. Bill Clinton's in town. The former president's leading a health summit at his presidential library in Little Rock. Doesn't attract the crowds they once did, but he's still at work, and that's a good thing. Mayor Mark Stodel, in his weekly message to voters today, said he thinks it's a good idea to talk about UALR having a football team and put it in War Memorial Stadium. This would require a $10, $15, $20 million investment on the front end for UALR. It will require millions of dollars in subsidies in years going forward. Schools like Arkansas State and UCA run deep in the red by using student money and university money to pay for football, and the theory that it somehow builds a university. I'm not sure it's a great idea for UALR, but it has some support among students and civic boosters. We'll have to see where that goes. The Josh Hastings case continues in federal court this week. It's now in the hands of the defense. This is a case in which the family of Bobby Moore says his civil rights were violated by being fatally shot by Josh Hastings during the investigation of a parking lot burglary at an apartment complex in West Little Rock. And finally, Donald Trump. He didn't go to church on Palm Sunday, though he is a good Christian. He said he is, and who are we to believe but Donald Trump on that? He did manage to go golfing, his 16th golfing outing in 11 weeks as president. This from somebody who said he anticipated being far too busy to go golfing while he was in the White House. Well, that was then and now is now. I'm Max Brantley. I'll still resist by calling Trump when I can call him. Hope you do too. See you tomorrow.